For decades, project management operated under a prescriptive, five-step sequential model: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and closing. This framework was optimized for predictability. It provided a standardized checklist dictating how to produce a specific deliverable within a stable environment. But the modern operating environment is no longer stable. Continuous technological shifts, artificial intelligence, and agile workflows introduced volatility that the old model was never designed to handle. When process-heavy standards meet these dynamic elements, the system fails. Prescriptive checklists cannot account for requirements that change faster than the documentation can be updated. After 30 years of standard practice, the Project Management Institute recognized that the existing methodology had reached its functional limit. Managing modern work required more than a simple update. It required the complete dismantling of the process-heavy standard itself. The transition to the PMBOK Guide 7th edition is an architectural teardown. This diagram shows the components being phased out. On the left, we see the isolated knowledge areas and linear process groups that defined the 6th edition. The standard has migrated away from this compliance-based structure, replacing checklists with 12 principles and 8 performance domains. This moves the profession away from following step-by-step instructions and toward navigating execution through a set of core behaviors. To understand why the rules changed, we have to look at how success is measured. Traditionally, a project produced an output, a physical or digital artifact, such as a software build or a new facility. But an output is distinct from an outcome. An outcome is the actual business or societal value realized when people start using that artifact. This highlights a frequent misalignment. A project can complete on time, on budget, and within scope, yet fail to provide any actual organizational value. Treating the moment of delivery as the project's endpoint traps organizations in a cycle of technically successful but strategically empty investments. To fix this, measurement must extend past the delivery date and into the operational lifespan of the artifact to track realized gains. A project's finish line is the realization of strategic outcomes, not the handover of a tool. Measuring these outcomes requires a framework designed for the task, the System for Value Delivery. Within this system, projects act as connected nodes rather than isolated tasks. This model illustrates the hierarchy. Value is the central objective, surrounded by projects, programs, portfolios, and finally, daily operations on the outer ring. Strategic objectives flow inward from the organizational level, defining the constraints of the project. Crucially, the system relies on a reverse flow of information, carrying performance data and outcome metrics back up to leadership. This reverse feedback loop provides the data necessary for executives to verify if their strategy is actually working in the real world. Engineering this bidirectional loop allows for evidence-based strategic pivots as market conditions change. A reactive system cannot be governed by a static 5-step checklist. Instead, the 7th edition uses 12 project management principles that act as broad operational parameters. These are behavioral boundary conditions, concepts like stewardship, adaptability, and systems thinking that guide how a team interacts with the work. Within these boundaries, teams operate across 8 project performance domains. These domains, including stakeholders, measurement, and uncertainty, form an interdependent network rather than a linear sequence. Because they are connected, a disruption in one area forces immediate recalibration. An unexpected spike in uncertainty instantly changes how progress is measured and the team managed. Performance domains react continuously to these systemic changes, requiring the team to adjust in lockstep. Successful execution now requires managing the holistic interactions of the entire system, rather than checking off sequential tasks. Without mandatory step-by-step processes, how do teams determine their actual day-to-day methodology? The answer is tailoring, the deliberate selection of the right development approach before the work begins. Consider the difference between the predictable requirements of civil engineering and the volatile cycles of digital product development. Tailoring allows a construction project to utilize traditional predictive or waterfall modeling to manage physical resources. Simultaneously, a software product can utilize adaptive or agile development to iterate quickly. Both projects remain governed by the exact same 12 principles. The methodology scales precisely to the complexity, environment, and context of the specific task. Specific processes haven't been erased, they have been moved to a dynamic environment. The bottom section of the chart identifies the PMI Standards Plus digital content platform. This is the new repository for specific methodologies and tools. Legacy processes and emerging practices both feed into this unified digital hub. This allows the toolkit to evolve in real time, accommodating new technologies without waiting for a new textbook cycle. This shift creates a significant change for the professional project manager. The role is no longer focused on administrative enforcement of process compliance. The modern project manager is a systems thinker, responsible for navigating volatility to translate organizational strategy into realized value.